A church in England opens its doors to professional wrestling to attract converts. A doctor is fined after sharing a photo of a patient's swastika-tattooed genitalia. And an influencer is in trouble for visiting an island that's off limits to the outside world. These are the weird stories on Weird AF News, the only daily weird news podcast hosted by a dude in a closet. Here we go. You look so fine. I don't know how to act right. A church in England opens its doors to professional wrestling in a bid to attract new converts. The Desperate Church, making some moves here, trying to get people in the doors. It's not easy as we become a more secular world. This story is out of England. Sitting around a wrestling ring, churchgoers roared as local hero Billy O'Keefe body slammed another wrestler named Disciple. Oh, Disciple. This was all taking place beneath stained glass, believe it or not, inside a church where the churchgoers whooped and cheered as these burly tattooed wrestlers tumbled into the aisles during a 6-man tag team battle inside the, quote, wrestling church. Can you believe it? Here we are, guys, 2025, wrestling church. I'll tell you right now, if this was part of the service, maybe I would consider attending. I mean, I just love weird stuff like this. This is like a level 11 out of 10 in the absurdity meter. And I'm wondering how long it's going to be before they bring it to America, because we are struggling with church attendance too, at least on the coasts. This is Wrestling Church, which brings blood, sweat, and tears, mostly sweat, to St. Peter's Anglican Church in the northern England town of Shipley. This is the creation of Gareth Thompson, a charismatic 37-year-old who says he was saved by pro wrestling and Jesus. And he wants others to have the same experience, being saved by pro wrestling and Jesus. Kind of odd, but hey, it's worked out for Gareth. Maybe it'll work out for some other individuals. If you like wrestling and you like Jesus, you're going to love this. Gareth claims that the larger-than-life characters and the scripted morality battles of pro wrestling fit naturally with the Christian message. Oh, I mean, yeah, you got fantasy right on top of fantasy. Why not? Although wrestling has some better storylines and way better special effects, I think, than the old Bible. Gareth says, if you boil it down to the basics, what we have here is good versus evil. When I became a Christian, I started seeing the wrestling world through a Christian lens. I started seeing David and Goliath. I saw Cain and Abel. I started seeing Esau having his heritage stolen from him, and I'm like, we could tell these stories. And he was obviously inspired to bring these things together. And now you got, imagine where you could go with this. Sinnermania 5, the Pope of Pain versus the Exorcist in the Steel Cathedral match. Just think of the fun. Make church fun again. Church attendance in the UK, it says, has been declining for decades. And the 2021 census found that less than half of people in England and Wales now consider themselves Christian. Those who say they have no religion rose from 25% to 37% in a single decade. This has led the churches to get creative in order to survive. Yeah, we're seeing this in the U.S. a bit too, albeit on a less desperate level because the secularism over in Europe has, really exploded much more than it has in the States. Because the States, we were built on very strange religious fanatics, and there's still a lot of that in the culture. If you remember correctly, this, the religious persecution that actually brought the first settlers here from Europe, it was because they were weird. They were weird. You had groups like literalists, people that took the Bible literally, like the world is 2,000 years old. You still have these clowns, I could call them, sure. So Europe has been on the downward spiral of church attendance for quite a while, and so this is their attempt to, get it back. And it sounds fun to me, gotta be honest. Like, making church fun again, why not? Do it. Church serves a function, a good function. It offers community. There's other things on there that I'm not really interested in, but a sense of community is something we could all use. So, rather than, get overly preachy, which is what they've been doing for hundreds of years, bring some fun into it. Bring some wrestling. How about some music? How about roller derby? Karaoke at church? I'm into it. Now, you're probably wondering, is this church wrestling taking off? Is it popular? Well, at a recent wrestling church evening, almost 200 people Older couples, teenagers, pierced and tattooed wrestling fans, parents with excited young children packed into chairs around a ring erected under the vaulted ceiling of this century-old church to watch some action. And boy, did they get a show. We're talking 2 hours of smackdowns, body slams, flying headbutts. The atmosphere grew cheerfully raucous as fans waved giant foam fingers and hollered, "Knock 'em out!" at the participants. Some longtime churchgoers have welcomed the infusion of this wrestling energy into their world.
Oh yeah, brother. I'm talking about mixing wrestling with the Holy Ghost. What you gonna do, huh? That's right, I'm gonna crucify you on a cross made of sweat and blood and tears, 'cause that's what I do. I'm talking about just taking it to you right under the rafters of that church. You know what I'm saying, brother? Yeah, 'cause when I get going, I'm feeling the Spirit move me, that's right. I'm flying through the air like a nun, I'm telling you, yeah. That's right, pukesters, I'm telling you right now, I'm high up on that mountain all by myself, 'cause I'm the champion of the world all by myself, and if you think you're gonna take me down, by golly, I got a holy rolling body slam for you. I'm gonna show you the commandments the way I see them, and that's with you lying on the mat and me on top.
A surgeon has been fined for sharing a photo of a patient's swastika-tattooed penis. An orthopedic surgeon has been reprimanded and even fined $10,000 after sharing a picture of a comatose patient's penis, which was quite a special penis. This unit had a tattoo of a swastika on it. The surgeon, whose name has been suppressed, was treating the man in a Queensland hospital in Australia. This was after the man made a homemade pipe bomb that then exploded in his hands. No way. A man with a swastika tattoo on his junk made homemade pipe bombs that exploded in his hands? I mean, someone could probably make the argument that shouldn't we all know who's got a swastika tattooed on their unit? Right? Because if that's the kind of person you are, you're probably making bombs at your house. You're probably getting ready for some sort of domestic terrorism, I'd imagine. I want to know anyone who's got a Nazi-related body art on them in my neighborhood. I would love that. There should be a register for such people. There's a sex registry, right? So you know where the pedos are in your neighborhood. Shouldn't we know where the Nazis are as well? You should have to register. And you know what? If you got a swastika tattoo on your junk or on your breastises, I want to know about it. If you got Hitler's face etched upon your sack, I think we all need to know that. Operation Out the Nazis in your neighborhood should be a thing, because there's some there, and it's hard to find them. I mean, they don't always rally. So, what's a way you find out? The doctors let you know. Maybe the local prisons can let you know. Any place where they're coming across them and they have to strip, they're gonna know. Now it says here the Nazi was placed in intensive care where he was intubated and placed in a coma for a week because of this pipe bomb situation, during which that time he was treated by the doctor who was employed by the hospital. While undergoing treatment, the surgeon noticed the swastika tattoo and photographed it. Of course, it's like seeing a Sasquatch or a UFO. I mean, who's ever seen a swastika tattoo on a penis before? I mean, it's very rare. I probably would have done the same damn thing. Shared it. Let everybody know, hey, this guy's among us. He's making bombs. He's got a swastika on his junk, and he's making bombs. Shouldn't everybody know that? You should know that. We should know that. There's undercover, covert people full of hate out there, and you don't come across them often in public. They're traveling underground. I've experienced it a bit. When you're a white guy, sometimes another older white man will just share too much with you. They'll say some racist remark. I'm like, bro, are you okay? They come up to you like, hey, that Epstein Island didn't sound so bad after all, right? And you're like, bro, come on now. I mean, at the end of the day, shouldn't we know about these people? They exist. Where are they? Shouldn't this doctor is a hero as far as I'm concerned. Do you agree? Do you not agree? Shouldn't we know where these people are? A guy with a swastika penis, and he likes bombs. He likes to make homemade destructive devices. Wouldn't you want to know? A swastika penis. Dun, 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 dun. A swastika penis. Dun, 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 dun.
The NBA playoffs are here, and I'm getting my bets in on FanDuel. Talk to me, Chuck GPT. What do you know?
All sorts of interesting stuff, even Charles Barkley's greatest fear.
Hey, nobody needs to know that.
New customers bet $5 to get $250 in bonus bets if you win. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. 21 plus and present in Virginia. Must be first online real money wager. $5 deposit required. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See full terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
A U.S. tourist and influencer was arrested for visiting a restricted island of indigenous people. The article begins by saying social media influencers pose a new and increasing threat for uncontacted indigenous peoples. This, according to a charity organization that's warned this is going on after the arrest of a U.S. tourist who traveled to a restricted Indian Ocean island named North Sentinel Island. The individual's name is Mikhailo Viktorovich Polyakov, age 24, allegedly an influencer. Landed on North Sentinel Island recently in an apparent attempt to make contact with the isolated Sentinelese tribe. He left a can of Diet Coke and told them about tariffs. Just, letting them know that they're going to get whacked with 34% of their imports from the U.S. I'm joking. I mean, the influencer even filmed his visit, obviously, because you got to get the content no matter what, right? I mean, these influencers, man, what people do for content, endanger themselves, endanger others, little regard, little respect for anything. People falling off cliffs trying to get content. I mean, when are we going to learn? Survival International is in this story. That's a group that advocates for the rights of tribal people worldwide. They said this act endangered the man's own life and the lives of the tribe, calling it deeply disturbing. Yeah, I mean, the guy's lucky he's still alive. The individual that visited before him from America, I don't know if you guys recall, was a Christian missionary from Alabama. Young guy, went to the island trying to tell him about Jesus. They killed him. Buried his body on the beach. This young man is extremely lucky to have made it out of there alive. They got some details about how it went down. Apparently he arrived offshore in his little vessel. They're not saying whether it's a kayak or what it is, but they say he brought a whistle and blew the whistle off the shore of the island in an attempt to attract the attention of the tribe for about an hour. He then landed for about 5 minutes, leaving his offerings, collecting samples, recording video. The police chief told the media that a review of his GoPro camera footage showed his entry and landing into this restricted North Sentinel Island area. Now, the law states it's illegal for foreigners or Indians to travel within 5 kilometers, which is about 3 miles, of the islands in order to protect the people that are living there. According to the police, Mr. Polyakov has visited the region twice previously, including using an inflatable kayak in October last year before he was stopped by hotel staff. There's no hotel on that island, though. Got a lot of questions here. On his arrest earlier this week, the man told police he was, quote, a thrill seeker. Oh, that's good reason. Come on, guys. What's wrong with that? I'm a thrill seeker. What? You've just killed this entire tribe by bringing your bacteria to them. What are you talking about? I'm just a thrill seeker here. Now, the organization Survival International said the Sentinelese have made their wish to avoid outsiders extremely clear over the years and underlined that such visits pose a threat to a community which has no immunity to outside diseases. Yeah, exactly. They don't want that. They certainly don't want us bringing plastic, preservatives, and TikTok challenges to their island. They have no need for this. They're probably living a paradise. Wouldn't you want to, given what's going on in the world, just go and live with these people? They're doing it right, man. Let's just get rid of our clothes. I'll put a little gourd over my penis. I'll live in a cave. As long as I can avoid these tariffs and taxes. I have no interest in voting. I'll just unplug and go and live on this beautiful island. Teach myself how to surf. Sounds like a great existence. Eat a bunch of coconuts all day, all night. No more landlords. How about that? Doesn't that sound amazing? No more landlords. No more DMV. Oh, man. Don't have to register for anything. Nobody bothering you. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, these people have figured out the secret. and naturally, they don't want outsiders visiting, ruining their thing that they got going. And I don't blame them. They should be respected. Now, there's some stats regarding this tribe. They say that they are the most isolated indigenous peoples in the world, living on an island about the size of Manhattan. There's an estimated 200 people belonging to the tribe, but it's actually impossible to know the true numbers. Few details are known about this group other than they are a hunter-gatherer community who live in small settlements and are, quote, extremely healthy. Yeah, of course they're extremely healthy. Yeah, there's no CNN in their life. The article ends by saying this is not the first time an outsider has attempted to make contact with the Sentinelese. In November 2018, John Allen Chow, a U.S. national, was killed by the tribe after visiting the same island. Local officials said the 27-year-old was a Christian missionary. Yeah, and apparently he believed, because he left a journal behind, he believed that this island was, quote, Satan's last stronghold. I mean, isn't that naive as heck? This guy actually made it to the island like 3 separate occasions. On the third one was when he was shot with bows and arrows. They were tired of listening to him. He kept going over there and whipping out the Bible and reading to them and singing and whatnot. They were just like, all right, we gave you a couple chances. It's a miracle he wasn't murdered the first time. But anyways, yeah, leave these people alone. What's wrong with you? Does everybody need internet in the world? I don't think so. Some people have figured out a way to live in harmony with their environment. They're probably way happier than the rest of us, right?
Oh, Pod Daddy.
Every day, thousands of Comcast engineers and technologists, like Kunle, put people at the heart of everything they create.
In the average household, there are dozens of connected devices. Here in the Comcast family, we're building an integrated in-home Wi-Fi solution for millions of families like my own. It brings people together in meaningful ways.
Kunle and his team are building a Wi-Fi experience that connects 1 billion devices every year. Learn more about how Comcast is redefining the future of connectivity at comcastcorporation.com/Wi-Fi.
Good luck with your life, man.
Hi, everybody. This is your host, Jonesy, your buddy, bringing you another episode of Weird AF News. Hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you had a lovely weekend. We had some good weather here in Southern California, so I was enjoying it with some outdoor activities. Very, very cool. I want to give thanks and praise to some people who bought me coffee over the weekend. Luna, first up. Luna bought me a coffee and wrote, "Hey, Jonesy, you, for the love of God, need to stay positive, my friend. I used to listen to the news every day during COVID because I needed some human voices in the solitude, but I stopped because it got too depressing. For the last year, I've started the day by listening to your podcast instead. You are the most positive news source I know of. If you get all sad, who am I going to look up to? I'm a grad student, and although my rent is over half my monthly salary, you and Weird AF News matter so much to me, I'm actually buying you a coffee. Hope 2025 gets better for you, Jonesy. Don't let us down, Jonesy. Yours truly, Luna. P.S. I'm from Florida, and Florida Fridays are 100% accurate characterizations of Floridians." Well, there you have it. Right from the horse's mouth. She's a Florida lady, so she knows. Thank you, by the way, Luna. Thank you for trying to cheer me up here. Reminding me I need to stay positive. I'm staying positive. I'm doing my best. I'm staying positive. Look, we just, we all have bad days. I just can't seem to, I'm not even going to get into it, but yeah, it's been aggravating so far. But yeah, I'm staying positive. I'm going to stay positive. Isabella also. Bella from Minnesota bought me some coffee, and so shout out to Bella. Bella's bought me coffees before. She is so supportive. I believe Bella's a member of the Patreon as well, right, Bella? I believe you are. Bella said, "It made me sad to hear you are having a rough start to 2025, Jonesy. You've made my days start with a laugh so far in 2025. I wore your t-shirt while flying from New York back to Minnesota recently. I was annoyed and shocked that no one asked about it. Maybe they were all half asleep still. It was a 6 a.m. flight. Much love from Minnesota, Bella." That's really sweet that you're repping Weird AF News on your travels. Yeah, I wouldn't imagine anyone would ask about it because Weird AF News is a very small podcast. On the scale of podcasts, mine is very tiny. Not a lot of people know about it, so I'm not surprised. But I'm really, really flattered and very proud that you would represent the show out in public wearing your gear, your Weird AF News gear, which you guys can buy Weird AF News gear at I have a merch account. There's a link to it in the description of the podcast if you want to go to that. You can buy a coffee mug or a t-shirt or a hoodie or something. I think caps too, baseball caps. Anyways, you can represent Weird AF News out in public. Anyways, shout out to Bella for telling me to cheer up as well. Yeah, look, it's been a rough year for us all. Some of us more than others, but I mean, this is off to a tough start, man. This might be a rough 4 years. I'm thinking about joining that tribe off the coast of India. Anyone want to join me over there? I don't know if I'll be able to continue the podcast if I do that, because the internet over there, it's probably a very, very, very weak signal, right? And I may have to change the direction of the show too, because I mean, those guys over there in the tribe, they're not really getting the news. So how am I going to get the news? I'm going to have to cover some local Sentinelese news. What's going on? Talk about who stole the goat. I don't know what they got going on over there. It's probably pretty cool though and exciting over there. I'd imagine they've invented their own sports. I'll bet stuff that we've never seen before. The food. Imagine what the food is like. It's probably stuff I've never had before. Wow, could be exciting. Maybe they make their own cannabis, some sort of psychoactive thing that they get into, or maybe they brew their own Sentinelese wine. Or I'm just spitballing here. I don't know what's going on over there. I'm curious though. But I'm not going to visit. I'm not a jerk. I'm not going to go over there in a kayak. I don't have an ego like that, let's just say. Anyways, appreciate you all for trying to buck me up. I'm fine. I'm going to be all right. Just, we got money issues is probably the root of it all. But it'll all work itself out. Meanwhile, keep doing the shows and keep listening, please. Tell a friend about Weird AF News. That would really help. Tell a friend. Tell them what you have as part of your day. Weird news, 5 days a week. Word of mouth is the best way of spreading this around, I find. So, yeah, let everybody know. Weird AF News. Let's do it.